Hey guys, good evening. Here it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur, your podcast host, and of course your podcast coach. Great to be with you here on IFYL, Inspirations for Your Life. We'll get to our master topic in just a moment. It is Saturday, so we have a brand new master topic. If you're new here, well, why don't you grab your smartphone? It's really easy to do. Launch the camera app, point over to the QR code like so, touch the yellow lips. You'll get my link tree as easy as that, and you'll notice right now, there's a new section called Tools for Podcasts, Hosts, and Guests. Definitely want to check that out. All right. So I do want to thank you for being here, whether you're here at 7:30 p.m. at night, 7:30 in the morning, 12 noon, 12 midnight, 3 a.m., 3 p.m., potato. I'm very grateful that you've chosen to be here and follow me and absorb all this great content. So let's get to our master topic, shall we? Here it is, everyone. Mastering VAK Combinations for Success. Series 2 means we're in the second year. Show 45, episode. Well, let's break down what you probably know already. But before I do that, I want to just let you guys know what I do. I'm a podcast host and a podcast coach, and I specialize in helping businesses to tell a story that leads to them growing and being more scalable and, of course, more profitable. Now, I typically work with companies that bring in 10 million or more, and they have a story to share, or they need me to find that story. I'm very good at doing that and getting people curious about you and your business, so they ask questions and potentially want to do business with you. All right, so we're talking about VAK, V-A-K. VAK is an acronym for something we'll get to in a minute. We all know what a combination is, right? It's a series of numbers, could be letters, and a combination is kind of like a formula, right? And so it's a specific order of numbers, of digits, and don't get any results, right? So that's what a combination is. We all know what success is, so we have to go there. VAK stands for visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. John, what the heck is that? I still don't know. Well, visual, things we see with our eyes, visual things, right? Auditory, things we hear, right, with our ears. K, kinesthetic, things we feel. Now, what we're going to go into over the next week or so is kind of exploring what VAK does. So VAK is a formula. And this formula is able to help us achieve things. Now, everything in life has a formula. They've learned this a long time ago. Now, you might be asking me, John, who came up with VAK? Well, it was Walter Burke, Barb. And it was then developed later and expanded upon by Neil Fleming. It was called the VAK learning model. It divides people into three categories: visual learners, auditory learners, and kinesthetic learners. But I want to go further than learning, because we all know that it's a learning modality. But I'm here to tell you that it's more than just a learning modality. You know what it is? It's a combination to your success. Huh? What do you mean it's a combination of my success? Well, have you ever gone to a car dealership? Sure you have. Or maybe you went to the store and there was a salesperson there, a sales consultant, and they either were able to close you or they weren't. If they knew what your VAK was, they would close you every single time. Now, here's the catch. Everything in life has a VAK pattern. Now, we're going to be talking about patterns all week with VAK. So visual is things we see, like you're watching me right now. lights, people. They're things we see with our eyes. Water, right? Weather, colors. So it sounds pretty straightforward. Things we see is a V for visual. Okay. So what are things that we can hear? Or maybe you can hear your refrigerator humming. You might hear your dishwasher working. I know I can. You can hear people talking. Maybe you can hear the beat of your heart. That's kind of hard. It's got to be pretty quiet to hear the beat of your heart. Maybe you can hear the cracks or creaks of the floor. You know, when you walk in a wood cabin, maybe you can hear the heat coming up through the ducts in your home. Maybe you can hear your engine starting, right? Maybe you could hear a tennis ball hitting the court. So, what are some common things we hear daily? Well, there's a lot. There are a lot of things that you hear every day. You might hear, um, an applause. Hopefully, right? That's one thing you could hear. But what do we hear? What are some common? I'm gonna say some common sounds that we hear. And I think our world has a lot to hear. So if we just go to everyday sounds, right? There's a lot of things. You could hear um, car horn, right? You could hear a door slam. You could hear footsteps. You could hear the call for an elevator. You could hear the water running in your shower or faucet, right? What else can we hear? What are common things, common sounds that we hear daily? What are some common sounds? There's a lot. Maybe you can hear the sound of a jar being opened, or how about a champagne or a prosecco bottle being popped? That pop sound, right? We hear a lot. What else do we hear around our home? So we talked about our car. When we start it, um, we can hear our doors closing. We can hear locks, locking and unlocking. We can hear we pick something up, we put it down. Maybe in the morning when you're having cereal, perhaps, and you pour milk. Well, you hear the milk folding into your cereal. You hear the milk folding your cereal. That's pretty neat, right? Maybe you can hear a paper or plastic bag being folded up, right? You can hear a clicking noise. A doorbell. You could hear a dog barking. Breaks, hopefully not too soon, but you could hear the sound that's made when you open up a box or a carton. You could hear a cricket. You could hear silence. There's a lot. If I was to ask you to name 3 things you hear every day, you can hear yourself brushing your teeth. You can hear yourself maybe going up and down stairs at school or at work. You could hear the sound your feet make when you rub them on the mat, right? So there are a lot of sounds, a lot of popular sounds every single day. What is the most popular daily sound we hear? You know, we could hear snoring, we could hear sniffling, we could hear loud breathing, mobile ringtones, alarm clocks, car alarms, um, popping of bubble wrap, which could be a little annoying. Nails on a chalkboard. I know that kind of maybe gets to you. Maybe somebody taking their pen and clicking it. That could be annoying. Dogs barking. Mosquitoes and flies zooming around. You might hear somebody whispering. A music box. The chirp of birds. How about the sound that a rock makes when it skips in a river or a lake? How about the sound that you make when you jump in the water? That crash sound with the water, right? You can hear songs on the radio. You can hear trees that might be blowing in the wind. There's also white noise, which has a strong calming effect to reduce stress and anxiety. So we talked about visual, we've talked about auditory, and this is just kind of like a foundation, if you will. The next thing I want to talk about is K, kinesthetic. What is kinesthetic? Kinesthetic is a sense we have through a feeling, right? A sense we have from a feeling, such as dancing is kinesthetic. Kinesthetic's a word that a lot of people don't talk about because they think it's overrated. It's not. Our life is based on feelings. Either people don't want to admit that. Kinesthetic is one of our senses. Touch, feelings. Kinesthetic, feeling, touch. Kinesthetic comes from kinesthesis or kinesthesia, which is kinesthetic. The body senses things. And when we feel something, it's known as touch or kinesthetic. In a kinesthetic learn things and they solve problems using real life. They want to do, they want to be a part of it. So the reason we say that, like, for example, smell might be said because you're feeling it, you're making it part of life. Kinesthetic is when the body is engaged in the situation. Kinesthetic is not something that is passive. That's probably the most important thing. So this entire week, we're going to be diving pretty deep into unlocking VAK, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic to empower success. But today, we just talked about visual, things we see, auditory, things we hear, kinesthetic, things we touch, things we can feel. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, been a pleasure, been an honor to be with you this fantastic Saturday night. I hope you'll like, love, support the channel, comment below, tag your friends, colleagues, and associates, share this out with everyone you know on social media. Of course, go to believemeachieve.com, click on that link, help keep our content free, and buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a bowl of fruit, or a scrumptious bowl of desserts. Either way, we're going to be grateful, those pennies and those dollars, because we'll invest them into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities, to give you the most jaw-dropping motivational content to empower you to have a life that will teach you that mastering our senses is the path we want to be on to enlighten ourselves as well as others. I'm going to catch you guys real soon, which will be tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. And we're going to be unlocking some amazing things with K, kinesthetic, visual, and auditory, or visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, because we see first, we hear next, and then kinesthetic. That's just how they define the pattern, but it could be any order you want. So stay tuned. We have a lot to share with you. I hope you have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow sometime, okay?